Hello friends, family, and viruses of all ages. You know who you are. So, we're finally here. Gotta admit, I'm a little underwhelmed, especially with my living conditions, but I mean, it's what I got. So, I arrived yesterday. The time difference between Boise is 15 hours ahead, and with Missouri it's 13. So yesterday, my flight was around 10 a.m. from Boise. So, yeah. I'm currently in the airport, and there's like nobody here. It's freaking, it's literally empty. There's nobody here. It's so quiet. I'm not used to it being this quiet. It was kind of shocking because it was so quiet and there were only a few people like there with me. I'm pretty sure there were only like 13 other people on my flight. Of course, the mask mandate is still up. It was uncomfortably hot. I was literally wearing a tank top and sweats and I was like boiling, especially with that mask. It made my skin worse. I'm literally so hot in this mask. Like, it's so hot. I have to wear this thing for like 12 hours. So I spilled water all over my shirt and I had to change. So yes, this is now the new fit. And of course, but we're gonna be boarding here in about 15 minutes and it'll be about a 2-hour plane ride to Seattle, and then I only have like a 40-minute layover in Seattle, which isn't bad, but it'll probably be barely enough time to actually get to my gate, because I believe my flight to Incheon starts boarding at about 11:15 and it leaves at 11:50, and if I land at like 11 or like 10:50, I can't math right now. It's gonna be a lot, but it's still very hot, still very hard to breathe with all the mask stuff. But yeah, we are surviving. I also forgot to mention I have silvery purple hair now. It's not gonna stay like this for long, and it's not very visible either, but oh well. Another thing that I kind of noticed as I was in the airport was like how smoky it had gotten. If a lot of you guys don't know, there's a lot of forest fires happening up in like the northwest area. So there was like this really strong haze just like all around the airport and around the terminal, and you could definitely see it when we got off into the air. I wound up like sleeping through most of my flight, which I hadn't slept the night before, so a good hour-and-a-half nap was kind of what I needed. So I just landed in Seattle and my flight got pushed back to 11:50, my next flight. However, it boards in 10 minutes, so I don't know how I'm gonna make this work. Much different from Boise. This place is very, very busy. Probably going to have to ride that train to get to my gate, but so my flight wound up being delayed to Incheon, but we were still boarding it around the same time. And when I meant like I had to haul ass to my gate, I had to haul ass because I not only had to make it all the way through the A gates, I had to take the train and go all the way to the S gates. And by the time I got there, there was just like a swarm of people in front of the gate. Everyone was just kind of like yelling over each other because I guess a flight from a gate next to us had gotten canceled, and so everyone was getting upset about that. So we had people like splitting off and like going to different gates, and it was just throwing me off very much so. So they asked me not to film by the gate because there were people getting their temperature taken, so I'm kind of hiding in the bathroom right now. But there's not a lot of people. I was actually kind of surprised. Like the gate looked pretty, like the seating area was pretty empty compared to the flight that I took last time. when I went from Atlanta, there was like we spread out into like 3 different seating areas, but this one, there's honestly not a lot of people, so I don't know if that's going to be like a good thing or a bad thing, like if I'll have more room. I'm wondering if we'll be taking like a 3-row seat plane. I don't exactly know what those are called, but so after everyone kind of finally went off to their own gates, I realized that actually, like on the flight that I was on, there were not a lot of people at all. It was honestly kind of surprising to me. Like, the plane we were on was big and they were talking about us having a full flight, but really the plane was not even half full. Which kind of reminds me, when we actually flew from Seattle, they didn't take our boarding passes. They only did like photo ID, which was kind of weird to me because she told me to pull down my mask and I was like, what is pulling down my mask? Like, how are you gonna take my temperature if I pull down my mask? But then she took my picture and I was like, ma'am, okay. But she didn't ask for my boarding pass or my passport or anything, so I don't know if that's how they're doing it now, but anyway. So when we finally boarded the plane, I wound up being at the very, very back of the plane. I was literally like 2-3 rows from the back of the plane. And there were only like, in my entire row, like the row was made of like 8 seats. There was only 3 of us in the row. Excuse me. But yeah, I was kind of surprised by how many empty seats there were when they were talking about having like a full flight. And I'm wondering if that's because of like COVID and like social distancing and stuff like that. They kind of gave us the basics on an international flight. It was the same thing when I went the first time. They gave you like the little kit with like the headphones and like a sleep mask and a wet wipe and stuff like that. And then they also gave us the travel documents. You have to have like a disclosure form, and like a statement form and like a purpose of travel form. So we had to fill all 4 of those out because you have to hand over all of those when you go into customs, which is a huge mess, and it's even worse because of COVID now. So there were like 7 lines we had to go through, but anyway. So about 2 hours into the flight, they wound up giving us these like little meals, and of course, when you're booking an international flight, especially one that's this long, mine was 12 hours, they give you like an option about what like if you have any dietary restrictions and stuff like that. So when they bring the carts along, they asked us if we wanted chicken, Korean beef, or pasta. I went with chicken just because it's the easiest. So got some vegetables and a cookie. And I guess this is chicken, but we'll see. I think it's chicken. And actually one flight attendant accidentally wound up throwing an extra cookie at me. And he told me I could eat it as an apology, so free cookie. And of course, Delta usually does this with most of their flights, and most international flights have this anyway, but we had like a little TV screen on the back of our, the seats in front of us. Mine was not working. Watching Beauty and the Beast or whatever, something super easy that I know would not have parental restrictions on it. Nope, didn't work. So I finally wound up having to use the one in the seat next to mine, and the guy was like, yeah, I don't care, go ahead. So super nice. So we're not even 3 hours into the flight yet, and my legs are cramping and my butt is cramping, and my TV doesn't work. So I've just been like listening to music and doing everything I can. My hair got stuck in my headphones, but anyway, you know, just be that way. But we still have about 9 hours left of the flight, and I'm not feeling too great. I don't know what kind of gas cramps that thing gave me, but my stomach is acting up and I don't appreciate it. But it tasted really good. It was really good, but maybe my stomach just wasn't ready for it. Anyway, I'm gonna try to get some sleep. I don't know if I'll be able to, but 9 hours to go, not much left to do, so. Needless to say, I could not sleep on the flight. I tried so hard, but I was just like way too uncomfortable, and I don't know. I typically have somewhat of a difficult time sleeping on flights. I don't know if it's because of like my claustrophobia and like I'm subconsciously like anxious being on planes because I don't like flying, but it was like making me super nervous just being on that plane and not like being able to get up and move around as much as I wanted to. So I just could not sleep. I kept like going in and out every like 20-25 minutes, but so we're about 3.5 hours out now. My ears are hurting from wearing that mask for so long. I can't sleep. I'm like I'm exhausted, but I can't sleep, and it's really stuffy. Like wearing the mask and like just being under like all that cold air, like pressurized air, it's bothering my sinuses. But I mean that just goes with flying anyway. Yeah, we'll probably be there in about 3.5 hours. So about an hour before we finally actually did land, they wound up bringing us like breakfast, I guess. It was actually pretty decent. It was like a little cup of fruit in the same kind of plate they brought us the first time. It was a little cup of fruit, and then there was like this egg sausage. It looked like a McMuffin. A lot of cheese. A lot of cheese. It was a little bit different than the first breakfast meal that I ate on my last flight here. It was more of like a croissant, and they gave us like a chocolate milk type thing. But this time it was just water. Just water. All the paperwork that I mentioned earlier, we finally had to fill it out when we landed, and we had to go through customs. There were probably like 6 different lines. The first one was where you had to provide your negative COVID test. They wouldn't let me take pictures or anything past that point just because like a lot of people's personal information, like we were handing off passports and like medical history type stuff, so I couldn't actually like have my phone out with my camera. There were about 5 or 6 lines that actually like we had to go through for customs before we got to get our bags and stuff. The first one, of course, was with the COVID stuff. The second one we had to go through and they checked our visas and everything like that. And the third one, we had to show our COVID, like our negative COVID tests again. Because you have to have a COVID test, you have to have a negative COVID test 72 hours before you land in a foreign country. So I got that taken care of, and when we made it to another line, we had to give them like our travel documents, like our declaration of purpose statements, our international travel statements, stuff like that. Finally, the last line, we had to like actually like be ID'd into the country, like fingerprints, which I had to do last time. They take your fingerprints and they take your temperature now, things like that. When I finally made it through customs and stuff, I got my bags, and when we went down there, there was like this new like water fountain fixture. So cool. At first I thought it was just like doing like little designs on the water, but then like as I walked by, I realized it was spelling out words, and I was too much in a hurry to like get my bags and go to my taxi to actually try to figure out what it says. So I'll probably look over this later and try to read it. But so I just got all my bags, and there's literally like nobody else here, but there's so many like so many bags and stuff, but there's nobody else down here. It's weird. I've also had to pee for the past 3 hours, so finding a bathroom. I forgot how cool these bathrooms are. Like, look at this. It's so swanky. Like look at this door. So when I finally met up with my taxi driver, that took a lot of effort. But when I finally met up with my taxi driver, I was kind of surprised at like how nice the taxi was, because last time, granted, we had to drive like an hour and a half to actually get to Sejong from Seoul, but this taxi was like really, really nice. The interior had like little curtains on the windows that you could close. The roof had like cushioning, and all the seats were like leather and super, super nice. The only thing I will complain about is the fact that it smelled so strongly of cleaning chemicals. Like, it smelled like a mix of like vinegar and bleach, and I was in there for 2 minutes with no windows open, and I was getting a splitting headache, and I was trying really hard not to fall asleep because I was already tired, and I knew like if I fell asleep it would probably help a little bit, but I was so out of it. Everywhere around here kind of smells like cleaning chemicals right now, and understandable because of like COVID and everything, but it was just like, it was a little bit. One of the main differences when we were driving to Hongdae from the airport is the way to Sejong, there was a lot more farmland and things like that, like a lot more farmland, a lot more, I don't want to say like, I guess countryside would be the right word, but as opposed to more of like a cityscape like we saw on the way here. We passed by a lot of buildings and things like that. It was honestly a really nice ride. The driver, he didn't talk a lot, but he, like, whenever he did, he was asking me easier questions that I understood, like how my day was, like I was tired. I obviously was. Got to the area where the Stay For You is located, I was kind of shocked by how steep the road was, because we were at like almost like a 45-degree incline just to get up to the Stay For You, and I was just kind of like watching all these people walk so close to our car or our van while we were trying to like go up the hill, I was like, we're either gonna hit someone or hit someone when we roll down this damn hill. But no, we made it. We somehow made it. The first thing that caught me so off guard, I've seen virtual tours of this room, not this room specifically, but like the rooms in general, from other students that have studied abroad. I was actually shocked at how small it really was. So, this is it. It's very small. I at least have a desk. I wonder if they'll let me rearrange my stuff, but oh, they left me a roll of toilet paper too. Anyway, yeah, this space is barely the size of my bedroom at home. Okay, here's the toilet slash shower area. Yeah, it's a toilet and a shower. So, yep, this is it. These are the digs. And I don't even have a closet or a dresser, just a clothing rack and some shelves, but we'll make it work. Oh, and an emergency flashlight. I don't even have bed sheets. No bed sheets, no closet. My window doesn't even open. Like, I didn't have a closet. I had one roll of toilet paper. I didn't have any sheets on my bed. I don't even know if I'm gonna be staying in this room for the school year. So I haven't unpacked anything, and I'm like, I'm stressing out. So the rooms didn't come with bedding, so I had to like buy my own. I literally cannot get this undone. More plastic on this. Alright, so that pillow. And I'm not sure which of these is a sheet and which of these is a blanket, but this looks like a blanket. And this also looks like a blanket. What? There's no sheet. There's no like actual sheet. Well, we will have to make do. Also, I'm gonna have to rearrange my room because I literally keep like there's like my mini fridge is right next to the bed. I kicked it when I was trying to actually like sit down. So I'm definitely gonna be rearranging some stuff on here, and I don't know if that's a bruise or not, but anyway, I'm definitely gonna be rearranging stuff on here because this is like, I knew it was gonna be small, but like this was literally the size of our bathrooms at Drury. So one thing that's really cool is that this place will give you don't have to order your own food. It's part of like the deposit is they'll give you 3 meals a day. You get breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And so I missed dinner time because of my flight, but luckily they dropped something off for me, so I was still able to like eat something. And let me tell you, I ate that whole thing in probably 5 minutes. Like I had a spoon in my bag and I just gone. So I'm currently in the process of trying to rearrange my room. These walls, like this is a wall right here, and this is a wall right here beside me. Like that's literally how small this room is. But they just dropped off my first dinner meal here, so we're gonna open her up and see what we got. Because I am starving. I can't open it. Ooh, Look at that. Look at that. Like rice and green onions and peppers and bean sprouts. I love bean sprouts. And they got me some pickled ginger too, so bon appetit. Bed and stuff around because this place just kind of makes me claustrophobic and I really want to put my bed next to the window, and I found this under my bed. It's perfume toothpaste, and I would just like to know, what is perfume toothpaste? But finally, after I rearranged my entire bedroom and I got everything done that I needed to, I washed my face, I got out the essentials, I was just ready for bed. I was so tired. I wound up falling asleep around 8:45. So I just spent the past hour rearranging all the furniture in my bedroom because none of it made sense, and now it's probably not any better, but I mean, I'm here. Day of travel, it's gonna knock me out a little bit, so anyway, I am glad to take you guys on this journey with me. That was my day. When I finish my first day of quarantine, I will start uploading that video as well. Because let me tell you, a lot has happened since I've been here. Anyway. Alright, well, thank you guys for watching. I'm going to finish watching this movie and probably start getting ready for bed because, while it's only 6 o'clock right now, I am exhausted. And yeah. Alright. Thank you.